Thanks for joining us. I'm Nicholas Reid from Reid Corporate, and I'm joined today by Alex Cheeseman, who's recently been appointed as the new Chief Executive of Greenvale Energy, ASX code GRV. Alex, it's great to see you. Welcome. Congratulations on your appointment. Why don't we start by tell us a bit about your background and what attracted you to the role as CEO?
Yeah, thanks, Nick. My background, I was a military officer, so I joined the Army straight from school. That was my first career. I've been in the resources sector for about 15 years now. Various different commodities, iron ore, mainly lithium. And I think the last 4 or 5 years, sort of GM, CEO level roles in junior exploration companies. So Greenvale, I was approached by Neil Biddle. He asked me to have a look at the company, see if I was interested. I really like the sort of portfolio approach and the broad range of projects that the company's got. When I say portfolio approach, I mean there's some really early stage stuff, some more advanced exploration projects, and then obviously some other projects like the Torbanite project that have been ongoing for some time. And so having that diverse range of projects and different things on different timelines is what I really liked.
So shareholders, you mentioned Neil, they'll all be familiar with Neil. He has a very successful track record in the sector, and obviously with Pilbara Minerals. What's it been like working alongside him, and also just give us a sense of what his involvement will be with Greenvale moving forward, given that he has now stepped back to non-exec chair?
Yeah, no, look, Neil's been great. I obviously knew him and the success that he had at Pilbara Minerals. And when he reached out to me at the beginning of the year to see if I was interested in joining Greenvale, I was really excited to work with someone that's had the success that he has. In terms of his role, he's really focused on strategy and looking at, the sort of major muscle movements of where the company needs to go and how we can create, great value for shareholders and replicate some of that Pilbara Minerals success. And my job is then to execute. Again, he's always there to lend an idea or some input into any questions I've got. He's always available on the end of the phone. So, I've really enjoyed working with him, and I think we've established a really good chair-CEO relationship really quickly.
So Greenvale's expanded its portfolio over the last year or so with a number of uranium acquisitions. What's your take on the uranium thematic, and why is now an exciting time to be in the uranium space as an explorer and hopefully developer?
Yeah, and again, I think this is something where, we really got to credit Neil and his sort of approach and the way he really has made a name for himself as a bit of an early mover. So he saw uranium as a place to start investing in and securing assets a good 9 months ago, definitely ahead of the curve. What did he see? Probably the same thing that I've seen as we've started to do a little bit of research. There's been a real underinvestment in uranium exploration and project development. Couple that with a significant build out of new nuclear energy and planned nuclear reactors across the globe, we really are staring at a structural deficit of uranium supply. So when you have such a massive deficit of something that is essential to a clean energy future, we see the uranium spot price is going to then move upwards to fill that demand. And I think we've seen quite a lot of activity and interest in the uranium spot price in the last few months. And it really is just the start of what we think is going to be a fairly booming uranium market for some time. To us, again, early stage uranium prospects in the NT and the more advanced Oasis project in Queensland, we're really centred on investing in making discoveries and building out uranium resource base as a way that we can make some real value for Greenvale shareholders.
So let's start with Oasis. It's the project that was acquired most recently, and it's where you're gearing up for a drill program at the moment. Tell us a bit about it first. What is it, and where is it, and why is it an exciting proposition?
Yeah, I suppose so. Oasis, for those who aren't familiar, it's about 300 kilometres due west of Townsville. The beauty is we access by sealed roads. It's a very easy drive. We're serviced nearby by the Oasis Roadhouse. So in terms of an exploration project, all our service supplies, fuel, food, accommodation are already there. So it makes it a pretty low cost place for us to explore. The benefit is we get to invest more time and money in the ground with drilling. We plan to be drilling in the next couple of weeks. This will be our maiden project at Oasis. The ground itself has been drilled previously and trenched as going back as early as the 70s. So we've got a really good understanding of the mineralisation and some real high quality targets. The focus of this program will be to confirm some of the earlier drilling that we've got information on, but then also to test mineralisation at depth and laterally.
So how big will that initial program be?
I think at the moment we're looking at a combination of RC and diamond, probably totaling about 3,500 meters. We've mapped it out. I think it's going to be about a 6-week program.
And when could we realistically expect results to start flowing?
The problem with results is assays and turnaround times on the labs. We're not immune from that, so we're talking to a couple of service providers at the moment. They've given us an indicative 4 to 6 week turnaround time as a standard. So as soon as we start drilling, give it 4 to 5 weeks from there, we'd get our first bunch of results. And then obviously be steady news flow in terms of results coming out for the duration of the program and 4 to 5 weeks after. We are also going to get some downhole gamma probe activities going. So this is a really interesting technique where we can send a probe down the hole and actually look for mineralisation from the radiation source.
So you've also been working on your NT portfolio, where you've got a number of projects. Tell us what's been happening there. What sort of results have you been seeing, and also when do you hope to get on the ground to do some work?
Yeah, so the NT, obviously a strong history of uranium mining. There's some great targets in terms of the work that we've done relatively recently. So airborne geophysics are really used as that sort of high-level targeting approach to say, where on the ground do we want to go? We've been able to correlate some of the geophysics results with some known granite sources. So the Al Kedra prospect is probably our most prospective at the moment. I'm talking to some contractors at the moment, looking to see when we might be able to get boots on the ground to do some follow-up mapping and sampling work. Ideally in the next 4 to 6 weeks, we'll have that first program underway. And we've got quite a few targets that we want to test over the course of the rest of this field program in the NT, which ultimately is weather dependent and will run right up until the start of the wet season, probably November, December timeframe.
So lots of activity across the uranium side of things. We shouldn't forget the Alpha Torbanite project, which shareholders are also familiar with. Tell us what's been going on there and what's happening currently and what's the outlook for that project.
Yeah, so look, Alpha is a really interesting project, and I think the focus at the moment, Test Work 7 being completed by the University of Monash, the real aim of that program is to derive a bulk sample that we can then go and get analysed, and if it's on spec, start providing that spec to potential industry partners that need bitumen supply. As most will probably know, or maybe they don't, the majority of Australia's bitumen is all imported. It's all coming in I believe pressure vessels maintained at about 140 degrees Celsius, so it's a pretty complex logistics operation, and being able to provide domestic source bitumen, if we get the processing right, is a real value added. Be the one-of-a-kind project in Australia. So yeah, pretty exciting. The test work does take time, and so we do need a little bit of patience.
And just finally, rounding out the clean energy portfolio, you do have some interesting geothermal assets as well. What's the latest on those?
Yeah, again, keeping pretty busy with all the projects. The geothermal, there's quite a bit going on in the background. I can't talk too much about it at the moment, but I suppose rest assured there's plenty happening, and we're looking to see how we can unlock value with those assets in the future.
Sounds interesting. So just to round it out, Alex, maybe in summary, give us a quick snapshot of what we should look out for, what shareholders should look out for over the coming months, and why do you think Greenvale is an exciting proposition?
Yeah, I think as I said, the real focus for us right now is getting the drilling program underway at Oasis. So, we're a small team, but it's all hands on deck, getting contractors aligned, working through our statutory permitting requirements, making sure that we're doing things right. Obviously, safety management, environmental management, all those protocols in place, but getting the drill rig on the ground and getting that spinning. It'd be a good program for us. Again, confirming some known data, but then also extensions at depth and laterally. We're really excited to see what we can uncover with the drill bit. Overlaying with that, the work in the NT, that will be a bit more sporadic. So we'll campaign each project area, probably go out 7 to 10 days in the field, come back, analyse the results, go again. And that'll happen, keep running throughout the rest of the year. Torbanite project keeps going on in the background. It's pretty slow in terms of news flow, but really important this next step and this next stage of test work. So I think the real excitement at the moment and the real opportunity for shareholders is the interest coming out of this uranium exploration. So, with the uranium market getting more and more excitement and the spot price moving up, everyone's looking for where the next source of uranium is going to come from. So, the potential to make discoveries and define resources and resource growth is a real exciting opportunity for us.
And just finally, Alex, you've got lots of activity happening. Let's talk about some of the touch points for shareholders to get in touch with the company and follow it. You're on Investor Hub, you're stepping up your social media activity. There's a few conferences coming up. Do you want to just quickly give us a run through on what's happening there?
Yeah, look, it's a really good point, Nick. The company, just before I started, actually moved its website and everything over to Investor Hub. And so what has happened and what we've noticed there is that some of our shareholders aren't actually registered with the website, and that's the primary means of which all our announcements, all our information is sent out to shareholders. So if you are a shareholder and you're not registered, your details on Investor Hub, please jump on the website, put in your email address, and all our updates will come out to you straight away. That links straight away with LinkedIn and our Twitter account as well. In terms of personal physical events, looking forward to the Twilight Series with Resource Rising Stars at the end of this month in Sydney and Melbourne. We'll also be at the Gold Coast, pretty marquee conference for us. We've got a lot of shareholders in Queensland, so looking forward to seeing them there. There's also a uranium day here in Perth early in September, so we'll be presenting at that. If shareholders want to get in touch with us, the email address, that comes straight to me, so any response will be from me. And again, registering on the website is a really good way to keep updated with what's going on.
Thanks very much for joining us, Alex, and thank you to everyone for tuning in. Greenvale Energy, it's a company on the move, lots of activity to come in the next few months on uranium exploration and other fronts. So stay tuned, as Alex said, tune into the website, watch the social media. There's a couple of interesting conferences coming up. RRS Twilight Series 29th and 30th of July in Melbourne and Sydney, and then the Gold Coast in September. So jump onto the website, register, and stay on board for what should be an exciting journey. Thanks for joining us.
Brilliant. Thanks, Nick.